What if I told you that some of the world's busiest airports are on the brink, choking on demand? Sounds impossible, right? But it's true, and this isn't just about runways and terminals. Hit that subscribe button because today we are deep diving into the continent-wide race that's moving billions, shifting power, and redrawing the map of global aviation. At the very heart of the United Kingdom's aviation network lies Heathrow Airport, a colossal hub of air traffic that has become a symbol of both success and constraint. It is undeniably the busiest airport in Britain, but it also stands as one of the most spatially restricted major airports in the world. With only 2 runways available, Heathrow operates at a staggering 98% capacity year after year, relentlessly processing over 80 million passengers annually. The numbers tell a story not merely of activity but of extreme congestion, a pressure cooker where planes jockey for limited takeoff and landing slots as if on a crowded freeway. Yet demand continues to rise at an unprecedented pace. Industry forecasts predict that by 2040, Heathrow could face the immense challenge of managing 140 million passengers every year. The airport's existing infrastructure simply cannot keep pace with such explosive growth. The looming crisis has galvanized plans for an expansion project that has endured a turbulent journey, approved, then scrapped, later revived, and finally greenlit again in 2025. The centerpiece of this expansion is the addition of a third runway, but this is no ordinary runway. Stretching 3,500 meters, it will be constructed directly over the infamous M25 motorway, arguably one of the busiest roads not just in Britain but in all of Europe. To create space for this colossal strip of tarmac, the M25 will be realigned, shifted 150 meters to the west, and then ingeniously buried into a multi-carriageway tunnel system that will snake underneath the new runway. This is no simple civil engineering task. Every day, over 200,000 vehicles traverse this arterial road, and during the extensive construction period, traffic must continue flowing uninterrupted beneath the very site where planes will taxi overhead. It is not an expansion, it's akin to performing open-heart surgery on the beating chest of the United Kingdom's transportation network with no room for error or delay. But the scale of change doesn't end with the runway. A brand new 6th terminal is planned to rise just west of Terminal 5, promising to handle surging passenger numbers. Meanwhile, Terminals 2 and 5 will undergo significant upgrades to modernize facilities and improve capacity. Terminal 3 faces demolition, a bittersweet but necessary sacrifice to make way for future satellite gates and to streamline airport operations. The entire internal road network, public transport connections, and underground utility systems must be completely restructured, all while Heathrow remains operational at near maximum capacity. The engineering challenge is immense, the logistical dance a tightrope walk. And the price tag is equally formidable, estimated to be between £14 billion and £18.6 billion. These costs will inevitably be passed on to airlines and passengers, making the expansion not only a massive infrastructure undertaking but also a financial burden that ripples through the industry. Yet perhaps the highest price is not monetary, it is human. The plan necessitates the demolition of roughly 700 homes and entire villages. Longford, Harmondsworth, some of which predate the airport itself, face erasure. Harmondsworth, a community that endured the hardships of 2 world wars, may not survive this transformation. The voices of these communities are rising in protest, underscoring the deep tension between progress and preservation. Environmental concerns add another layer of complexity. Climate activists are sounding the alarm, pointing to the conflict between Heathrow's ambitious expansion and the UK's stringent climate targets. Lawsuits and legal challenges swarm the project, threatening delays and demanding accountability. Despite this, the reality remains that planes could be roaring down that third runway by the mid-2030s, heralding a future where Heathrow continues to grow, but perhaps at the cost of its own historical and environmental legacy. Just across the English Channel, Germany's Frankfurt Airport is pursuing a markedly different path. Also one of Europe's busiest hubs, Frankfurt currently manages around 70 million passengers a year, a figure similar in scale to Heathrow's present-day operations. But instead of undertaking earth-shaking infrastructure upheaval, Frankfurt is embracing a strategy of incremental, modular transformation, quietly but decisively modernizing without bulldozing villages or shifting major highways. The linchpin of this approach is the development of Terminal 3, A €4 billion megastructure perched on the southern edge of the airfield. Designed to eventually handle 25 million passengers annually, Terminal 3's construction is phased, pragmatic, and flexible. The airport authorities are not rushing to build the entire terminal at once, but are instead expanding in carefully calibrated steps that respond to evolving passenger demand and economic conditions. Pier G was completed in 2022 and is currently held on standby, ready for future activation. Pier H followed in 2024, bringing online 10 new gates, 4 of which are specially configured to accommodate the massive Airbus A380s with dual-level boarding bridges. Pier J is slated to open in 2026, while Pier K remains on the drawing board, awaiting the airport's evolving needs. This phased construction allows Frankfurt to scale capacity in a way that is both financially prudent and operationally sustainable. To seamlessly connect Terminal 3 with the rest of the sprawling airport complex, a state-of-the-art people mover system is being installed. This fully automated transit line, engineered by Siemens, covers the distance in just 8 minutes and can transport 4,000 passengers per hour in each direction. The precision of this system ensures swift, efficient transfers without congesting existing road or rail networks, representing a hallmark of modern airport design. But Frankfurt's ambitions extend beyond passenger terminals. Lufthansa, Germany's flagship carrier, is investing a massive €600 million to upgrade its cargo hub. This includes the construction of a 42-meter-high bay warehouse, one of the tallest airport structures in Europe, equipped to streamline logistics and handle the ever-growing demand for air freight. All of these complex projects unfold without grounding operations. Flights continue to take off and land just meters from construction zones. Excavators and cranes work tirelessly, moving over 70,000 cubic meters of earth adjacent to active runways, while workers build terminals comparable in size to football stadiums. The airport operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in a symphony of coordinated effort that demands absolute precision and safety. Frankfurt's approach may lack the headline-grabbing drama of Heathrow's runway over highway spectacle, but it exemplifies surgical precision and measured progress. It is a quiet revolution, an evolution built on smart planning, technological integration, and a respectful balance between growth and sustainability. In the grand theater of European aviation, this methodical expansion could very well set the standard for how the busiest hubs adapt in a world of rising demand and limited space. Istanbul's story isn't just about constructing another airport, it's about staking a bold claim on the global aviation map. Unlike Heathrow, which fights tooth and nail against spatial limits, or Frankfurt, which manages its growth with meticulous calculation, Istanbul has chosen to blaze its own trail. Situated just 35 kilometers northwest of the bustling city center, on a vast undeveloped plateau, this project is Turkey's audacious answer to the world's increasing need for connectivity. When Istanbul Airport first opened its doors in 2018, many marveled at the scale, but few fully grasped the magnitude of what was unfolding. By 2019, the airport reached full operation capacity, signaling Turkey's serious entry into the global aviation elite. And it didn't stop there. Istanbul isn't content with just being large. It's going to be the absolute busiest airport on Earth. By 2025, projections estimate a staggering 120 million passengers annually, a number that eclipses many current global giants. But remember, that's just the beginning. Phase 1. The real transformation happens by 2028 when all 4 planned phases are slated for completion. 6 runways will stretch across the skyline, enabling an unprecedented flow of traffic. The passenger capacity is expected to balloon to an astonishing 200 million people a year. To put that in perspective, that's more than double Heathrow's busiest years and places Istanbul in uncharted territory. The terminal building itself will sprawl over 1.44 million square meters under a single roof, creating one of the largest contiguous terminal spaces ever conceived. One of the game changers began in 2025 when Istanbul initiated triple independent runway operations. This technically sophisticated setup allows 3 aircraft to land or take off simultaneously, massively boosting the airport's hourly traffic capacity to 148 movements. This means planes will be taking off and landing in an almost continuous dance of precision, turning Istanbul into a 24/7 high-octane global hub. But Istanbul Airport is far more than just runways and terminals. It's a complex ecosystem, a city unto itself. The airport features a luxury hotel to cater to transit passengers and business travelers alike. There's a dedicated general aviation terminal handling private jets and non-commercial flights, further diversifying the airport's offerings. And in a move that signals a serious commitment to sustainability, Istanbul is building one of the world's largest solar farms right on site. With 430,000 solar panels, this facility is designed to generate enough power to meet 100% of the airport's electricity needs, weaving environmental responsibility into the fabric of its colossal ambition. The scale is dizzying, yes, but more than that, it's a geopolitical pivot. Istanbul Airport represents Turkey's strategic vision to become the airborne bridge linking Europe, Asia, and Africa. It's a bold declaration that power and influence will now be measured not just by armies or economies, but by who controls the skies and the connections those skies enable. Now let's pivot dramatically to Paris, home to Charles de Gaulle Airport, just 25 kilometers northeast of the city center. As France's largest airport and the second busiest in Europe, CDG holds immense significance, but it's a story with a very different rhythm, one marked by caution, reflection, and an embrace of sustainability. In 2021, CDG had grand plans. A €9 billion investment into a fourth terminal that would have added 40 million more passengers annually. The scale was ambitious, promising to push Paris further into the ranks of mega airports worldwide. But then, in a move that shocked many, the French government scrapped the project entirely. The reasons for this pivot were complex and multifaceted. Climate goals played a starring role. The growing urgency to limit emissions and reduce environmental impact could no longer be sidelined in favor of expansion. Post-COVID travel trends also forced a reevaluation. The pandemic reshaped how and how often people fly, casting doubt on the long-term demand projections that fueled the terminal plans. And underpinning all this was the fundamental shift in thinking. More isn't always better. Instead of building bigger, Paris embraced a smarter approach. Enter the CDG 2035 to 2050 plan, a sprawling vision focused on upgrading existing infrastructure with technology and sustainability at its core, rather than chasing sheer capacity. Terminal 1 underwent a remarkable transformation with the €250 million X-Time concept. This wasn't just about efficiency, it was a bold fusion of high-end retail, curated art installations, and optimized passenger flow. The goal? To create an experience that feels less like waiting in a crowded airport and more like stepping into a sophisticated cultural space. Terminal 2 and the baggage system saw their own high-tech revamps, incorporating AI-powered identification to streamline luggage handling and reduce lost bags, a major pain point for travelers worldwide. And in 2024, CDG enhanced its air traffic control systems by adopting Indra's Innova platform. This upgrade raised the fallback condition capacity from 30 to 48 arrivals per hour, significantly reducing delays and smoothing the overall travel experience. But the real story lies in the airport's environmental ambitions. Paris is pushing hard to become fully carbon neutral by 2035 and aims for net zero emissions by 2050. It's a bold, almost radical commitment that involves more than just tweaking a few systems. The airport is integrating solar farms that feed clean energy into operations, geothermal wells to tap sustainable heat sources, and pioneering hydrogen-powered infrastructure that could redefine airport energy consumption. These initiatives are laying the groundwork for a new kind of airport, one that's as conscious about the planet as it is about passenger throughput. Then there's Schiphol, Amsterdam's gateway to the world, and a masterclass in constraint. It's a bustling hub, one of Europe's busiest airports, yet it faces an extraordinary challenge that sets it apart from virtually every other major airport on the continent. Why? Because Schiphol isn't allowed to grow. Unlike sprawling airports that extend their runways, terminals, or sprawling new facilities onto acres of open land, Schiphol is hemmed in by strict government policies designed to protect the surrounding environment and local communities. In 2025, the Dutch government capped annual flight movements at exactly 478,000. This was not an arbitrary number plucked from thin air, but a carefully negotiated limit aimed at drastically reducing noise pollution and carbon emissions for the millions living near the airport. Expansion isn't on the table. There will be no new runways or sprawling terminals here. Instead, Schiphol's future lies in optimizing what already exists. It's a tightrope walk, balancing the insatiable demand for air travel with the growing imperative to protect the planet and local quality of life. So Schiphol is going inward. This isn't about adding new acreage or expanding the airport's footprint, but about squeezing unprecedented efficiency, comfort, and capacity out of its current space. Between 2024 and 2029, a staggering €6 billion is being invested, making this the largest investment in Schiphol's history. The goal? To make the airport feel larger, more comfortable, and more seamless without building outward. The star of this transformation is Pier A bold €1.4 billion expansion project. This new pier will add 8 state-of-the-art gates designed to handle the demands of modern aviation. Among these, 3 are capable of accommodating the world's largest jets, the mammoth A380s and their ilk. Pier A isn't just an extension, it functions like its own terminal, complete with security checkpoints, passport control, and luxurious lounges. Opening in 2027, it promises to revolutionize passenger experience at Schiphol, giving travelers a more streamlined and pleasant transit through one of Europe's busiest hubs. But that's not all. Schiphol is also constructing an entirely new baggage basement, a subterranean marvel designed to accelerate the handling and transfer of luggage, reducing delays and mishandling. More than 200 walkways and rest areas are being completely overhauled to ease passenger movement and offer more space to relax. Much of the existing infrastructure dates back to 1967, and the renovations aim to bring everything up to 21st century standards, blending sleek modern design with cutting-edge technology. And finally, we come to Poland, where ambition takes on a scale few European countries dare to attempt. Unlike Schiphol's inward evolution, here the rulebook has been thrown out completely. 40 kilometers southwest of Warsaw, on a vast expanse of green fields and open silence, a colossal new mega airport is rising from scratch. This project is called CPK, Centralny Port Komunikacyjny, and it represents nothing less than a national and regional game changer. With a jaw-dropping budget of €30.4 billion, CPK is poised to rewrite the map of European aviation. The terminal alone will span 450,000 square meters, more than enough space to handle massive passenger volumes and the complex logistics of modern air travel. 2 4,000-meter parallel runways will be constructed, capable of handling non-stop traffic day and night, rain or shine, with the capacity to handle the largest and busiest aircraft in the sky. But CPK's vision extends far beyond aviation alone. It is designed as a multimodal transport nexus, integrating a new high-speed rail network stretching over 2,000 kilometers. This rail system will connect the airport seamlessly with cities throughout Poland and further into Central Europe, creating a fast, efficient corridor that links passengers and freight alike with the heart of the continent. CPK is more than just a transport hub. It's a geopolitical pivot, an audacious effort by Warsaw to wrest control from the long-dominant Western European aviation centers. No longer will travelers and businesses have to rely primarily on Frankfurt, Schiphol, and Paris Charles de Gaulle. Warsaw wants to become the new center of European aviation, a gateway where East meets West and the continent's flows converge. But such boldness comes with its share of obstacles. The local population was not immediately on board. In 2018, a striking 84% of nearby residents voted against the project, concerned about environmental impacts, noise, and the massive disruption it would bring to their communities. The political winds shifted as well. In 2023, Poland's new government almost canceled the entire initiative, sparking fears that this bold dream might never take flight. Yet despite the skepticism and opposition, construction is slated to begin in 2026, with completion targeted for 2032. If successful, CPK won't just build a new airport, it will move the very center of gravity on Europe's aviation map eastward. It will reshape commerce, connectivity, and geopolitics in ways that echo far beyond Poland's borders. Which airport do you think needs this upgrade the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of global travel, hit like, share, and subscribe for more mega build stories like this one.